This is the video you guys have been waiting for. So here we go. What's up, fans? So, like I said in that little stupid intro, this is the video you guys have been waiting for. This is free agents that GM Doug of the Miami Dolphins would target. This is not necessarily who the Dolphins are targeting. This isn't necessarily who I heard the Dolphins are targeting. It's kind of really early right now to kind of like predict who the Dolphins are targeting, but essentially you'll see a trend in the names I have written down. Again, this could change. Some of the guys I have down here probably might re-sign with their team, or things might happen, trades might happen, stuff like that. But this is, as of right now, this is kind of like, I was looking through the list of at least top 100 free agents, and I was kind of looking at the list and breaking it down. I got a list of about 9 free agents that it piqued my interest. I'm like, hey. And then I also thought of the direction the Dolphins are going in. So, they're going younger. They don't want to overspend in free agency. They want to build through the youth. They want to build a foundation. So essentially, that's what my free agents are: building through the foundation, building through youth. So again, this is probably like one of maybe 3 or 4 videos in a few weeks. Free agency starts March 13th. So that's almost about a month away, less than a month away. So there's going to be differences. Things are going to happen. People are going to sign, back with their teams and stuff. So I might do a bunch of different videos on, who I could like to see the Dolphins sign in free agency. But let's jump right into this ish. And I'm going to jump into the wide receivers first. And one of the names that kind of like piqued my interest. Now, he's a restricted free agent, so there might be some work having to be done. He also might already re-sign with his team, but that's Geronimo Allison, wide receiver, 27. He's 27 years old. And you can, obviously, I want below the age of at least 28. I don't want to go older. No more Josh Stittons and stuff. But Geronimo Allison, he is tall. He's a physical wide receiver. Again, the wide receivers we have right now with Jakeem Grant, with Albert Wilson, Kenny Stills, all these wide receivers we have, Isaiah Ford, short slot receivers, quick receivers. We need that big physical guy that could break it off down the field, kind of like Kenny Stills, get off press coverage, all that stuff. And Geronimo Allison, last year, all but one game, he had 5 catches. And I know he had Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, so it's kind of easy, but you also have to catch the ball. So it's a two-way street. So I like Geronimo Allison, age 27. Now, he might re-sign with the Packers, but I'm just giving you guys an idea of the mindset that I have. But he might re-sign with the Packers, especially because he's a restricted free agent. Well, another name that I'm thinking of, and I looked up, and I'm like, I like this guy, Tyrell Williams, wide receiver from the San Diego Chargers. Now, he's 27. So he's still young, not too young though, and he's also a big wide receiver, 6'4", 205 pounds. He had 1,000 receiving yard a couple seasons ago. He still hasn't done it, but again, he's another guy that he's still fairly young, and you don't have to overpay for him. And again, that's the criteria. If you start noticing with my list of free agents, that's the criteria that I'm looking at. I'm not throwing ridiculous amounts of money at these players, because there's wide receivers out there in free agency, like Robbie Anderson from the Jets, who's a restricted free agent. He's 26, he's young, but he's gonna want a decent amount of money. He's probably gonna go back with the Jets, but he's gonna want like a decent amount of money. Whereas like Tyrell Williams, he hasn't produced for the last year or two. He's still good, he's still decent. Maybe he just needs a new place. Kind of like, you'll notice these free agents go to new places and they succeed better. So he's still fairly young, 27, and he wouldn't cost that much money. So, those are 2 wide receivers I'm thinking of. Again, I'm going to do more videos, so things might change. I might add more wide receivers, more free agents might get cut to be added to the wide receiver pool or to the pool of players that I'm talking about. But let's go next to tight end. What? Tight end that I would sign in free agency is Jesse James, tight end from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's only 25. He's a great run blocker, and he's got great hands. Jesse James, if you don't know, is the tight end who scored the touchdown against the New England Patriots, but the refs said he didn't. What? But yeah, so Jesse James, I like him. You know, I only have one tight end in here because all the other ones, like Eric Ebron's out there, but he's going to cost a lot of money to sign him. Jesse James, I feel like, is in the criteria of maybe about like $6 million a year, because he doesn't have those flashy numbers, but he's still a good wide receiver, that a good tight end that you could put with the tight ends that we have with Gray, with O'Leary, Gesicki, Smythe, and you have that tight end group that you don't have to worry about injuries because they're all really good tight ends. So that's the tight end I'm thinking of. Now the defensive ends is going to be different for the Miami Dolphins. I would like Cameron Wake to come back. I'd like him to get his 100th sack with the Dolphins. I'd also like him to retire a Dolphin. Robert Quinn costs too much. Unless he takes a huge pay cut, he's gone. Branch, gone. You know, a lot of these, Charles Harris can still, he doesn't cost much, so I wouldn't mind him, but if we could trade him and get something for him, maybe. But again, we're going to be running maybe a 3-4-4-3 hybrid, so Charles Harris could stay. But defensive ends, they're already starting to rebuild with the signing of Tank. So one of the names out there that I would like them to get, now this one might not be as cheap as some of the other free agents that I'm naming, but Trey Flowers from the New England Patriots. He's only 26. He's playing really great. Brian Flores knows about him, but he might cost a pretty penny, and I'm not talking like 12 million or around there, but the money that we will get from getting rid of Branch and Quinn could be put towards Trey Flowers. Now, I'm not saying that the 21 million that we would save from the two of them we would give to him, like 21 million a year. That's dumb. But I'm saying that with like Quinn being gone, give that money to Trey Flowers. Give him the 9 million a year, even the Branch money. Give that to Trey Flowers, because Trey Flowers produces, and like I said, he's played with Brian Flores, so he knows, and Brian Flores knows him. So that's a target that I could really see the Dolphins going for, again, if he's not going to try to break the bank, because he's still young too. And the other defensive end is Frank Clark from the Seattle Seahawks. Again, 26, fairly young, 13 sacks last year. Again, he might cost a lot of money, but it all depends. Also, he might re-sign with Seattle, but I like to have these two defensive ends start to build that defensive lineup, So with Trey Flowers and Frank Clark, both 26, both fairly young, then you have Charles Harris helping, you have Cameron Wake, at a cheaper price, helping them out, showing them the ropes. I think that this defensive line could start getting really built well and start to really do something. Now, those are the two defensive end free agent targets. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating this. This video is my first of many. Things might change. Money might change. Concepts might change. So as of right now, me making this, it's just my first of many. And then for the defensive tackles, again, if you notice, defensive line, I'm kind of addressing in free agency. Christian Covington from the Houston Texans, 25. Not that old. He's a really good run stopper. His pass rushing skills need a little help, but that's where the expertise of the defensive line coach we have from Jacksonville would step in, and also potentially keeping Wake, maybe Hayes, can show him what to do in that scenario. So again, I like this. He wouldn't cost much money because he's young, he's unknown, and he wouldn't break the bank. Maybe about 4 or 5 million a year, which isn't bad. I don't want to overpay for these defensive linemen. Maybe Trey Flowers is the only one I would kind of throw a bit of cash at him because he produces and he knows the scheme. But everyone else, all these names, you're like, who? And that's why, because they're good producers, but they're not going to cost you a lot of money. And then the other defensive tackle I would probably sign is Darius Philon, defensive tackle from the San Diego Chargers. Again, 25. He's not that old. He was a former 6th round pick. He's really great at run stopping, and he's produced 4 sacks last year, so they can build off of that. Again, if you're noticing my defensive tackle free agent signings, they're really good at stopping the run. And for me, that is the most important. You stop the run and you make them go one-dimensional with the pass, game's completely changed on defense. So the 2 defensive tackles that I'm signing, both are really good run stoppers and can be better at pass rushing, again, with the coaching from a coach that has constantly produced a great defensive line. So those are the 2 defensive tackles I am signing. Now at cornerback, I'm only signing 1 cornerback right now, and he's young. He was injured last year, so I know when I say his name, a lot of you guys are gonna be like, no, I'm not giving him any money. But the fact that he was injured last year, I feel like we could get him for cheap, and that's Ronald Darby from the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, he's only 25. He's young. He did tear his ACL last year, but everyone's saying that he should be good for training camp, OTAs, and all that stuff. But he's a solid number 1. He's not elite. And again, you won't have to pay him a lot of money. Because in my mind, I'd like to give Xavier Howard an extension, and if not, we still have him for 2019 for cheap. And then you can franchise tag him, do whatever. But I'm the minority or half of the team, the Dolphin fans that want to keep Xavier Howard. So to have Ronald Darby in there, who again isn't going to break the bank because he's not elite, and he's coming off an ACL injury. He might cost you about $4 million. You could sign him for 2 years for about $9 million, maybe about $5 million guaranteed. You know, not a lot of money, but you still have a corner opposite Xavier Howard who's done it before, who's produced before. So that's my mindset on Ronald Darby. And then finally, you guys obviously want to know what would I do at the quarterback position in free agency. Now, Case Keenum's out there, but I don't know about Case Keenum. You know, that's not a bad idea. A lot of you guys have been asking me that in the comment section. You know, now that Case Keenum could potentially be available, what do you think? Again, I'm not trading for any quarterback. I'm not trading for anybody. I'm not trading for Antonio Brown. I'm not trading for anybody, because why give away picks when we're trying to build a championship team here? We want as many picks as we can get. So I would sign Teddy Bridgewater. Now, I'd sign him not to a big, ridiculous contract, and if all of a sudden there's a bidding war for Teddy Bridgewater, I step back. I'm like, all right, no, you know, you can make your 16, 17 million from another team. That's not what we're going to do here. You know, we want you to bring here, we want you to compete. So I wouldn't sign him to a ridiculously fat contract like that. Maybe 9 million, 10 million a year. Yeah, all right, fine. Bring Teddy Bridgewater and see what he can do, see if he can compete with Falk and Ruddick. And then I would re-sign David Fales, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets try to pick up David Fales, because obviously Adam Gase loves his dudes. So that is my list of free agents. It's not a long list. It's not a flashy list. Maybe the only flashy names are Trey Flowers and Frank Clark. But again, this is the first of many videos. I'm going to constantly, this is going to be part 1, because it's going to change. People are going to get cut. People are going to get re-signed. All of, like Glover Quinn, Brandon Marshall being released. All of a sudden, names are going to start being in this free agency pool that might pique my interest. That might be like, all right, if he doesn't cost too much and he's young, that might help. That's the thing that, if you notice, is a theme with my free agents. I think the oldest one is Terrell Williams, and he's 27. Everyone else is 25, 26. Because the Dolphins are going younger. They're not going in the mode of Josh Sitton and all these guys going older. Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, Doug, you haven't named an offensive lineman. And that's because a lot of the offensive linemen I'm looking at in free agency are, you know, they're up there in age, 30s. You know, there's some younger guys, but those younger guys like have busted. So, you know, with the offensive line, again, like I said, this is part 1 of many. You know, you never know. In part 2, I might have some offensive linemen on there. But I would probably draft offensive linemen. But again, this is one of many videos. I'm going to do multiple videos on free agency. I'm going to do multiple videos up to the 13th about who I would target. But as of right now, those are the names I would target. It's very heavy on defense. You got a few wide receivers, a tight end, but it's very heavy on defense. You know, build the defensive line up and get another corner out there, and then see what you can do through the draft. Also, we don't know if we could trade Branch, trade Quinn. trade these players that we're eventually going to cut, McDonald potentially, to get picks to potentially draft more players. But again, this is one of many free agency videos. So before you start roasting me and before you start saying like your list is horrible, you know, you don't know what you're doing, this and that, one of many videos. This is as of right now, because like I said, there could be cuts, there could be re-signings, could completely change the whole dynamic of the list. So comment below, let me know what you think of the area I'm going through. If you guys have any names that you like, free agencies you would like to sign, again, my mentality is young, inexpensive, but good. Let me know, comment below. Let me know what you guys think of my list. Again, one of many. And I'm gonna get to one of you guys' comments of the day. And this one comes from Angel, and he asks me, hey Doug, how do you feel about possibly bringing in Case Keenum or Nick Foles as our new free agent quarterback? Case Keenum, we kind of already like touched base on in the video, but as far as Nick Foles, he is going to get a lot of money somewhere. It's not gonna be with the Dolphins, because the Dolphins want to get their quarterback in the draft, either this year or next year. I'm really thinking it's next year. But Nick Foles, I honestly think he's going to Jacksonville. I think the reason why he opted out, because his option was picked up by the Eagles and he opted out of that because it's in his contract where he's allowed to say, no, I'm good. I honestly think the reason why he did that is, one, he doesn't want to be a backup to Carson Wentz anymore, and two, he wants to go to Jacksonville. In Jacksonville, he's going to hands down be the starter, no competition. Nick Foles is a starter. And also he's with his quarterbacks coach that helped him win a Super Bowl. So he will have that comfort and everything and play in an area that he wants to play for. So I would be surprised if Nick Foles doesn't go to Jacksonville. But yeah, I think Nick Foles is going to Jacksonville. And as for Case Keenum, you know, the Dolphins are on a youth movement, and the Dolphins are on a build through the youth movement and build through the draft movement. So for Case Keenum, I don't know. They picked up Ruddick, and they have Falk, and I can see them going younger. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities. But you know, I'd have to see more. Again, this is the first of many videos. So thank you for the question. I hope I answered it somewhat. But be sure to follow me on Twitter. Every time something new happens, I tweet it out. I was answering a bunch of you guys' questions on Twitter, so if you guys have been asking me questions on Twitter and it's not in the video, I still answer it for you guys. So be sure to go over there, check it out, follow me on Twitter. Be sure to go check out the BitBoards. If you like gaming, if you like that type of stuff, go check it out. Let me know if there's things that you would like us to play, or things you don't want us to play, or things you think could make it better. We're always up for that type of help. So go over, check that ish out, subscribe if you like what you see. Give this video a thumbs up, because in about 3 weeks, free agency starts. And that's when the stuff really picks up. And that's where we really see the direction the Miami Dolphins are gonna go in when it comes to signing free agents, who they sign, why they sign them, who they cut, who they trade. It's gonna start getting really crazy. So subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I got a ton of videos planned for you guys. I'm still doing my prospects. Top 5 quarterbacks, top 5 offensive linemen, wide receivers, defensive ends, linebackers, corners. Breaking it down, telling you guys who I like, who I'd like the Dolphins to pick. When you guys ask me about a mock draft 1.0, that is coming very soon. Again, I like to do mock drafts after free agency, because then you can really see where the team needs help, because you see who they signed and the positions that they now need help in, because you know they didn't sign those positions. So that's going to be coming. So again, subscribe, and I will see you guys probably Monday with another video. So like usual, stay classy. Fins up.